think we should be ready to go. I obviously did not win. That piece of frag supposedly is $1,200. I like to use a Dremel tool. Oh, Reef Sensei, all right, what we got here? Yeah! I'll forget their names before I drive away. Hey, what's up, Reefers? Today we're gonna meet up with a local reefer to pick up a Harlequin shrimp. It just so happens that a local reefer has a Harlequin shrimp that he's looking to rehome because the Harlequin shrimp has polished off all the estuarine and starfish in his tank. So this is the perfect scenario. Harlequin shrimp does its job. The shrimp is already acclimated to regular aquarium life, and now the reefer is trying to rehome the shrimp. In the local Facebook group, he asked for $50, and I offered that. Alternatively, also the choice of maybe trade for corals as well. So at the end, we decided that we'll do a golden rod and a copora, as well as a slime ball and a copora frag. We'll trade for the Harlequin shrimp. This is kind of like the perfect scenario. No money exchange, and basically a shrimp is already acclimated to aquarium life, has a taste for estuarine starfish, which I have plenty of in this tank. I also still have the 2 chocolate chip starfish. One of them is right there. That has been living in this tank for a year and a half, just waiting for Harlequin shrimp. So everything is kind of lined up. We'll pack these guys up, make the exchange, and then we'll introduce the new shrimp in this tank, and without the wrasse, so the shrimp should be free to roam even during the day.
Later that night.
Alright, so this is my drip acclimation setup. We have the Harlequin shrimp here in the container, back home safe and sound. We are doing a really slow drip to make sure we match the water parameter slowly. The local reefer is kind enough to also pack a sand-sifting starfish legs that the shrimp was munching on. It's kind of like a to-go bag. So we're going to do a really slow drip on the shrimp, and then it just so happened that the light is out at the tank, so it's a perfect time to release the shrimp into the tank. Alright, so we dripped for about 2 hours. We dumped the water out twice in between. I think we should be ready to go. Let's see if we can do this gently. Oh, nope. Let's see if he kind of walks in by himself after spotting some rock. There you go, buddy. Go on. Excellent. Excellent. I'm just gonna hang out here for a little bit, which is fine. Totally cool if you want to hang out in the front. That'd be perfect. Now, one interesting thing that I want you guys to kind of pay attention to, and we'll check tomorrow, is that we'll see just a few estuarine starfish on the glass. Okay, in my past experience, whenever there's a Harlequin shrimp in the tank, all the starfish just start climbing the glass, almost like they can sense it in the water. Maybe some kind of chemical that gets released. Oh, look at that. He is still holding on to the sand-sifting star's leg. That's why he wasn't taking the estuarine starfish. But it's good. At least we know that at least his belly is being filled right now. And you got a lot of estuarine starfish waiting for you. Hey, what's up, Reefers? Number one, yes, your boy finally got a haircut. It's not the best, but this'll do. And number two, the TSA Coral Growout Contest has came and went. Your boy put up its okay fights. I'm happy that nothing died. I'm just really happy that they all survived. I obviously did not win. If you have not heard already, Rocky Coralita totally took everybody out. So he is the winner. Huge congratulations. An amazing growth in his tank. Now, as I mentioned, I'm just really glad that all of these frags made it through the, I think, 8 months now. And they're starting to color up and starting to actually grow. So I feel like the first 5 or 6 months has just been trying to settle into the tank, get used to the tank environment. Like most of the SPS that enters my tank, they kind of go into dormancy, get used to the tank, and it's exploding growth. So my approach is to just put the coral somewhere safe where they won't get knocked over, and just kind of leave them alone and don't touch them, because I feel like every time I touch a coral, it stalls the growth a little bit. So I decided to put this TNW frag rack, because it has the silicone locking mechanism. I just put them in the front glass, put all the frags there, and just leave them alone. I feel like in terms of flow and lights on the rock work, it's definitely a lot more ideal, but I'm afraid of number one, coral warfare, and I'll lose a frag, and number two, on the rack, it'll be much easier to take like the measurements every month or every 2 months to send it over to TSA. So that's why they're on the rack. Hindsight, I feel like if they were on the rock, they may have better growth, but at the same time, I may lose some because they may get knocked over or there may be cold warfare. So it's kind of like a hindsight, and there is definitely a trade-off there. Either way, I'm just really glad to be able to participate. Huge thanks to TSA, and it's been interesting just kind of seeing how these frags do in different people's tank, mainly Rocky's, because he has been consistently posting updates. And once again, huge congratulations to Rocky's. His growth rate is astounding, and the color looks fantastic in his tank. So with that said, this also means that it is time to finally move the frags onto the rock work.
1 hour later.
A bit of a blue light special right now as the light is ramping down, so it's a little bit more blue. But as you can see, the frag rack is gone. I have worked somehow all the coral frags into the clusters right here. Let me show you where they went. So I believe that is a 4 loco. That's a pretty standard mount, just mounted right on this rock work. I'm hoping to kind of control the Zoa garden if it's possible, to not encroach on the SPS. We'll see how that goes, but 4 loco right there. And then we have the esteemed fruity splice right there. That is one of the prime spot for SPS. All the treasure SPS I keep on that rock because I feel like it gets really nice, nice flow, and also really really nice lights as well. So that's where the fruity splice goes. That piece of frag supposedly is $1,200 if you want to buy from the store. So I'm treasuring it. That's one of those frags that I'll probably never be able to get if I were to really buy it outright. I am not rolling in those here. Now the other 4 frags, it's a little bit more interesting. I'll spend a little bit more time talking about them. You see that we have 1 piece right there, 2 pieces right there, and 1 piece right there. What's interesting about them is that they all sit on a piece of live rock, and I basically just drop the rock right inside the acros right there, meaning that that is a whole acro colony, and I have some live rock rules, and some I just kind of mount the frags onto those live rocks, and I just wedge the rocks into the acropora branches. Now the reason I did that is because of course I'm out of space, and also I noticed that when I did that with the clams, the acro didn't really react negatively towards it. In fact, it encrusted onto the rock, incorporated the rock into its growth, and then sprouted from the rock as well. So basically the coral is just doing what coral does in the wild, is reef building structure. And the reason all the rocks kind of like focus right there on the electric Miyagi torts acropora is because the acropora is much more sturdy than the anacropora. The anacropora, like the slime ball and the goldenrod, as soon as I touch it, they just kind of break off. They're really brittle. But they also grow really, really fast. And I guess the trade-off is that it's not as dense in terms of the structural. So I can totally do stuff like that, and the acropora is perfect because it's really branchy and they're really stiff. They don't break easily, and also they're really coarse and have a lot of little nubs sticking out, meaning that once a rock goes in, I can kind of move it a little bit to wedge it in. It's not as easy to get knocked over. So that's why you see the random frags among the acropora branches, and that's going to stay there for a while. We'll see how they do. It may be a pretty big move, moving from off the side frag rack all the way to right underneath the Radions and AI blade, and also right in the path of the flow. So we'll see how the corals adapt, but I feel good simply because at least it's just fighting with the change of light intensity and the flow. It's not so much struggling with the water quality as well, simply because it has been in the system. So I'm a little bit more confident in terms of moving it from kind of like off to the side to right underneath the light. So it's one less thing to acclimate to. So we'll leave them there for a couple weeks, get them adapted, see how it goes. Eventually they will probably need to be either moved or trimmed back, simply because they're really close to the anacropora. They may not play well together, who knows. But look at this, without the frag rack up front, tank looks much cleaner, right? The next thing I need to do is to clean up the Mondipora caps right here. You see it's completely growing under the glass now at this point, as well as kind of clean this place up a little bit. I would like clean sand bed once again. I think it'll really do wonders for the look and feel aesthetic of this tank. Alright, Reefers, today's mission is to make frags. Make frags specifically from, let's zoom in real quick. That is the ACI release King Hammer from a long time ago. And down there's the ACI release Prince of Darkness that came a little bit earlier than King Hammer. We were super excited, at least I was super excited when we received these hammers, especially the King. It looks absolutely beautiful. I wasn't sure how fast it's gonna grow, but it looks like in the span of, has it been a year? I'm not sure, I'm losing track of time after kids came. One single head became two, and then each of these individual heads also have splitting heads, so it's growing well. The Prince of Darkness spread a lot faster. I have multiple branches now, but the head's a little bit smaller compared to the ACI King Hammer. Between the two, I'm a big fan of the King. I'm just more attracted to the coloration. It's much more vibrant and bright versus the Prince of Darkness, as the name implied. It's kind of like a black coral with more like a white rim. I promised Jim them a long time ago, and finally I think the skeleton is long enough where I have area to cut where it's not skin. And also I'm gonna bring frag of the goat torch as well. I wanted to share the goat torch a little bit earlier, but because I have the Euphyllia eating flatworm episode last year, I'm really hesitant in terms of spreading these out. But I've been religiously dipping them for almost, has been 9 months at this point. Ever since last August, that was the last time I saw anything that came out of it. I think we should be in the clear. So some of these gold torch will be going to Jim as well. So this is gonna be a pretty LPS heavy drop. The other thing I'm gonna bring over to Jim is this. I've been holding on to this bird's nest for him for almost 8 or 9 months since that meeting I picked it up for him. Unfortunately, that section bleached out because, silly me, I had the gold torch on here, and little did I know that it pivoted in the middle of the night and stung the crap out of that branch. So depending on how that goes, I may need to cut it off just in case it start out healing from there, but it looks okay. It looks like some of the polyp is starting to peek back out there, so hopefully it'll be okay, but we'll keep an eye out on it. Yeah, I forgot to film. All right, so here is the King Hammer. We took a branch with splitting 2 heads, and that's the original frag. It branch off nicely, just chop it off, and we get this little guy. The only downside is that it has a funny little curve, but I want to give Jim as much branch as possible in case this works for him. Otherwise, he can always cut it down. So at least right now he has a choice. And this is a Prince of Darkness. The frag grew into this guy right here. It's much branchier in my system, maybe because of how it's positioned. But I'm gonna lop off this and make that a frag. This would be much more straightforward, well, straightforward, because it's gonna be straight up. And in terms of fragging it, as always, I like to use a Dremel tool, or, well, it's not Dremel brand, but you get the idea. So I use this because sometimes if I use the bone cutter, it may crack the branch, and that's something that a lot of people talk about too. They may accidentally crack the branch if they just use a bone cutter. So usually, if it's something that I'm really careful about, I use this guy right here, and just to have a nice clean cut. And usually with this, I can even use super glue to attach to frag plug, versus some of the jagged edge, I may need to use epoxy, which is a little bit messier. Super glue, I feel like, is a little bit cleaner. All right, they look kind of pissed off, but here they are. We got the Prince of Darkness up front, and we got the goat torch in the back. Again, the goat torch unfortunately is at a funny angle, but hopefully he has a hole that will fit it. So besides those, I'm also thinking about bringing over this frag of goat torch, because I remember when Jim and his wife came by visiting, his wife commented that he really liked this portion of the tank. It looks like just a mountain of, I guess, goat torch. So hopefully this will help kickstart his torch obsession. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, let's fast forward to the day, I guess.
2 days later.
Oh, Reef Sensei, all right, what we got here?
So a long time ago, I had mentioned one of the Monties that I have in the tank that will take over a rock. So put it on a rock,
all right,
on its own little island.
Okay.
And then that's the princess.
Oh, there it is. It's beautiful. Oh, it's multi-heads too. Thank you.
2 heads.
Oof. What kind of Monty is this, by the way? I'm curious.
I don't know.
I was like, what color is it? The orange one?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's
that's
the
a nice one.
red one.
That's a nice one. All right, cool. Thank you. Uh-oh. Here we go. He has permission to destroy the tank. It's okay.
No, it's not okay. Because then it'll be my fault.
We'll go for the firecracker.
I'm gonna grab this.
My plan is like a couple pieces bigger. I was gonna snap the one on top too,
You
so
want
you
this
get the
whole
big
thing?
chunk.
That?
Yeah, just take it out. It's gonna touch the garf anyways. It's gonna get burned out.
When I was over, when you were traveling,
Go for it.
I didn't want to touch your tank. I was like, I'm not gonna be the reason.
I was like, hey, just how come the person that's still here?
I'm like, I'm gonna put my hand in there. Hi, doggy.
Oh, Kowloon. Off. Oh,
clippers.
Okay.
The whole, they're right here. The
Okay.
whole thing was moving.
Yeah, I was like, if the whole thing can actually just lift up, that's okay. Clipper is fine.
Oh, jeez.
Tricky, right?
You want to re-glue it?
I'm okay
It's
with
wiggling.
gluing if it can just come out.
Yeah, it can come out.
Yeah, let's do it. No pressure. No pressure. No pressure, Jim. No pressure!
What is it in, a hole?
Yeah, it's in the hole. Yeah!
All right.
Awesome. You just take it out and we'll just...
Here. Here,
You want to do it? Oh my God. Do you need water in there or no? No.
just to cut it?
Yeah. Hey, you cut.
I don't want it.
You cut.
I haven't introduced a new coral in my tank since the princess.
Okay.
Like, it's been that long.
Oh man.
And,
Please dip.
And I came over with, what did you say?
Please dip that.
And I came over with no aquabiomics test. 'Cause
Okay.
I was gonna give you a test.
Yeah, I'll be curious.
Damn that. There we go.
Awesome.
That's so we can see where your tank sits. I have a few.
All right. It's okay. I can glue it back. Probably. Oh, would it just fit?
there?
Oh, let's try. It would be nice if it can just kind of slide out each time versus having to. Nice. I probably should glue it down.
Yeah, maybe. It's in there pretty good.
Okay, that's all right. We got the rainbow splice down there too, but
That?
yeah, not
That's
quite,
too small.
Yeah,
I don't
not
want to
quite
mess with
ready.
that.
You have the garf already?
I don't have the garf.
You want to cut a piece of garf too?
That's this.
Yes. I'll say,
I can do one of the back pieces.
yeah, back piece, or there's one chunk that's coming
That
out.
one there?
That may be easy.
This one?
Yeah, but up to you. Whatever you...
Whatever doesn't impact how your tank looks. Nice.
Nice cut. He has done this before. Because I was usually still naive enough to think that the frag's gonna stay on the clipper. I just lift it up. I was like, oh. Every time I'm like, oh. Do you want any electric Miyagi torch?
The humongous one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab, yeah, please.
Yep.
I'm gonna grab
As long as it's not structural, because I got a couple of
just
small
that leg
pieces.
that's
Yeah,
sticking up
yeah,
back
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'm gonna let it drop into the slime ball.
Go for it. If we lose it, there's plenty more.
This thing really grew back nicely. What's this red one?
Which, oh, that's the TNT.
That's cool.
It's pretty slow growing.
Yeah?
We can try to grab a frag from it too.
I can snap off a tiny little
Yeah.
piece maybe.
The good thing about that is Anacapora, so it can grow among the other ones. It's a trifecta.
I've been enjoying the Anacapora.
I like the fact that they grow fast. You see result a lot faster.
This is like going to the frag store.
DIY, right? Bring your own beer. Clip your own coral. I should probably get those in water.
I'll forget their names before I drive away. I don't know that I'm gonna go for that. I don't want to break it off.
They're pretty brittle. It should be
Yeah.
okay. You can just
I'm gonna do
twist.
a tiny little piece.
Yeah, you probably just twist.
Nope, it's wiggly.
Okay. I mean, it's just sitting in a...
I'll grab it another time.
Okay.
I'm good. That clam.
That tiny guy?
Yep.
You don't want bigger?
Nope.
Because, I mean, it's kind of growing into the clam anyways.
I know.
May as well just...
I have a spot for that.
4 to 6 more days later.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have something to show you guys. Check this out. Your boy aquascaped and cleaned up the tank, finally. Because I was able to finally remove the 2 frag rack in the front glass that was sitting right here and right here, I was motivated enough to finally clean up the sand beds and also move things around a little bit. In some previous video, you may have seen that I've already addressed the red ghani and the pink ghani, which is all the way in the back. They used to sit front and center, blocking off and drawing attention to it. I moved them off to the side and will address them a little bit in the future. This kind of opened up the scape a little bit. So first order of business is to reclaim some of the sand beds. Clean sand beds really help offset the rock and the coral, so that's what I did. And second order of business is to really clear out whatever is down here in the overhang, namely that big pink ghani, and whatever soft corals I have some frags down there that I kind of shoved over here. This way we get the overhang back, the roof crest. As a result, the scape looks a lot cleaner. The other big thing I did is to gave Jim a bunch of gold torch. Well, it's really one chunk of gold torch over here to kind of thin out this area, so that when you look at the tank, there's a obvious attention. There's like a larger section and a smaller section versus two sections about the same size. So I feel like that helps with the balance aesthetically a lot. And of course, later on, we do need to still address the Monty cap here. As you can see, they're kind of growing onto the front glass, kind of unsightly. But I feel like I've done a lot to the tank already. I want to not rock the boat too much. So we'll let the tank kind of settle down for a week or two, and then we'll start scraping over here as well. While we're here, let's take a look at the corals that my Reef Sensei Jim brought me. First of all, check this out. I'm so excited about this one. This is the ACI release Princess Hammer. I have the King Hammer back there, that's a gold hammer right there, and also the Prince of Darkness, that is the black coral with a white rim around each of the polyp tentacles. This is the part of the trio. This is the Princess. It's almost like a rainbow colored hammer. Right now my light is slowly transitioning to blue. I'm hitting it at the afternoon mark, so you see the color changes a little bit as I film, which is kind of interesting. You can see the tank it almost like a more white and slowly going to a more blue. The second coral that Jim hooked me up with is this encrusting Monty Pora, because he hates me. I'm just kidding. He warned me repeatedly to keep this off the main rock structure, so there it sits on its own little rock. I'm not sure what name it is, but it is a beautiful, beautiful, really fluorescent encrusting Monty Pora. And Monty Pora always done well in my tank, so I'm looking forward to this. Now, before we go, there's like two things I really need to show you. First thing, with this, I'm gonna use my super long turkey baster as a pointer. Let me zoom in a little bit. We are looking at two of these baby clams. These are baby crochet clams from Clammania. And you see that I did the same deal as the SPS. I put them on a little piece of rock and drop it right into the torts. And look at this. Look at this. See, the torch is encrusting onto the clam. Look at that. At first I thought, okay, maybe just kind of like a smooth piece of tort because the clam kept slamming on it. But no, it's actually encrusting onto the clam, and the clam does not seem to mind. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of in a tight spot here because I cannot lift the rock out. The whole rock is encrusted really well by the, look right here, by the acros. It's fully encrusted, it's integrated into the coral, so I cannot lift the whole piece of rock out. I'm not sure what's gonna happen if I clip this branch right here because it's so well encrusted onto the clam shell already. I think 2/3 of the shell has already been kind of incorporated into the coral. So at this point, I'm just gonna look and see and cross my fingers. Here's a view at the top. But they're absolutely beautiful crochet clams, right? I don't think I've really talked about these clams yet, but once they get a little bit larger, I'll be more than happy to talk about them. I absolutely love those clams. I'm just really happy how well they're working out in this tank. Now, the second thing I need to talk to you about, I need to bother the big Duressa clam a little bit. Let me kind of, once again, use my turkey baster to kind of tease it a little bit. Can you move, please? Look down here. Okay, hold on. Move. Look down here. Can you guys see what I see? You see this guy right here? Dude, what is this? Look at this. You see this right here? At first I thought Aptatius, but look, there's a little green dot at the tip. So the second thought is Majano. I've never had Majano anemone in this tank. It looks almost like frog spawn because the each of the tentacle structures seems to have different green dots on it. But it's still really small, it's really hard to see. Maybe it'll turn out to be Majano after all, who knows. But it is just super cool to see because I never expected coral to spawn in my tank. But then, I mean, I guess like if I look back and look at these guys, instead of just kind of dividing, maybe it did have spawn at some point and maybe some actually settled out here, which is super cool. Really awesome to see this.